All right, the Church of Rome. We're going to look at the Roman Church in Europe. All right, that is Western Europe. So we're talking about the Catholic Church. All right. Title this Church Power. Okay. And let's see how they established church power. Roman Catholic Church is based out of Vatican City. That is the old Roman Empire. Everything gets destroyed except for this little place right here. Okay, Vatican City. Now you remember, you need to copy this whole chart here. All right, we started with Jesus, Peter, Paul, okay, then Constantine. Now here is the first one we're looking at now. Clovis, then Pope Gregory the First, Martel, the Christian hero, Charlemagne. Either you gonna do what I say or we all gonna die. And then you get to Pope Gregory the Seventh. We're gonna talk about him in a second. And last but not least, probably most important Pope of this era, Pope Urban II. Make sure you write this down. He leads a call for the Holy Crusade. What do you think that is, Miss Davis?
It's like a war.
Exactly. See? All right. This is a war between the Muslims and the Christians over Jerusalem. But the key thing I need y'all to know is this part. He made the Christian church more powerful than any feudal lord by this move. And that's because he took control of, who do you think?
The knights?
Yay! All right, there you go. And anybody who controls the man with the swords or the army or whoever, the man with the gun, if you can control them, you have the power. All right. Now, looking at hierarchy here, I just want you to see the structure of the Roman Catholic Church. All right. You got the Pope here, who is never, ever wrong. If he says it, it is always right. Alright, and now underneath him, you have the cardinals. These are like advisors to the popes. And then if you look at this whole structure here, these are the keys of St. Peter. The Pope is supposed to have the keys of St. Peter. That is, he has the key to heaven. You got to go to him. Alright, and these other guys, all underneath him, the lowest guy on the totem pole is your local priest. Alright, key thing is, unlike the rest of Europe, you can move up. You can start here and work your way up. All right. At least the possibility does exist. All right. So your local priest, all right, this is what he was in charge of. The 7 sacraments. What do you think those are?
What he was responsible for?
Yeah. Basically, so he's going to take care of baptism, confirmation, Holy Communion, confession, marriage. All right, all of these things are what the local priest was in charge of. All right, and you wanted to have them done right there on the manor. All right. Now, the church played a large role in maintaining the feudal system because it controlled 1/4 of all land in Europe. All right. That's going to make the church really, really rich, all right, through this system that they're going to develop called tithing, all right, where you pay 10% of whatever you earn to the church. Now, the priests and the monks, all right, were the only ones around who could read. Key thing is, so the king is going to be dependent on this guy, all right, in terms of communicating with other people. He always had to go to a church official.
So that's how they kept their power.
Exactly. Stay with you are like right on with this, man. See? Boom. All right. Canon law. All right. All Christians, and this means kings and peasants alike, all of them had to follow this. Canon law. Make sure you write this down. Canon law. All right. All of this that's in bold, you need to write down. Popes are going to use this as a threat against any disobedient king. All right. Now, the key weapons were excommunication. That means I'm kicking you out of the church and you can't go to heaven. Or interdiction, which means like I'm taking all of those religious rites, that is baptism, Holy Communion. I'm taking all that away from you. Okay, and if you don't have those, then the people aren't going to follow you, and the king will essentially lose his power. And you get one example here. Pope Gregory the Seventh. He resented the fact that kings had control over the clergy, and so he decided to pick his own people. That's going to upset Emperor Henry IV of the Holy Roman Empire. All right, a little battle ensues. Pope Gregory kicks him out of the church, then forcing him to come beg for forgiveness. Once he begs for forgiveness, boom, finally they reach an agreement with the Concordat of Worms. But the key thing you need to understand here is Gregory VII showed that he was more powerful than the king. He was more powerful than the king. Now, after this, they start building cathedrals all over Europe. These massive structures that you typically think of when you think of church. All right, these huge churches all over Europe. Probably one of the most important ones was Chartres in France. And they had this what they call Gothic style to the architecture. Okay. Now looking at look at the design inside this church. This is one of the most now this was made to rival another church that we talked about over in the east. The Hagia Sophia. Now, not quite as elegant as the Hagia Sophia, but you get the idea of what they were going for. All right, the whole monastery system that Saint Benedict is going to head up. All right, you had to take vows of chastity, vows of poverty, obedience, not to have sex, but a whole list of things. Now, but the key thing is monks are going to provide schools, hospitals, hotels, all right, place to stay. All of these services were provided by the church. And that's why they're going to be able to expand their power inside of Europe. Got a few questions for you. Bring this in tomorrow. Answer questions 1 through 5. And